Good morning, fellas. Like Negan said, it's a brand new day. So we're out here. We got this thing almost finished up. I came out here today, the day before Thanksgiving. I'm not sure when this is going to hit the channel. Going to come out and repair his stator real quick. We'll get his flywheel on and get his clutch cover painted up. Get the intakes on and leak it down, and it'll be done. So his stator's right here. It's a nice looking OEM stator. If you caught the teardown video, you know that the end of it is trash. And there we go, all fixed up. Looks like new. Brand new connector, brand new bullets. Good to go. So now we can get this puppy installed. Alright, so I was just looking at his stainless bolt kit, and I'm kind of surprised that it didn't come with bolts for the stator. I could have sworn that the complete kits came with stator bolts, but I've never bought just the engine kit before. I've always bought the complete fastener kit from Alloy Bolts. So maybe that big kit does come with that, because I'm almost certain that even the neutral switch cover came with the bolts. But anyway, these are the OEM ones with the washer on them and the Phillips head. And these are some Allens that were in his engine somewhere else. I'm not sure where they were at. I think on the water pump cover. I'm going to use these instead of the OEM ones because these are a 5mm Allen. These are the same size that are, these are the same as the bolts that are all over his engine. His right case cover, left case cover, the cylinder, the cases, all that good stuff. So basically when he's working on his bike, the same Allen is going to fit pretty much everything on there. He ain't going to have to go hunt down a different size socket or something like that. That's something I hate doing, is when you got all kind of different size bolts and bolt heads on a motor. So we're going to use these right here. So we're going to put a little Loctite on there, and we're going to go ahead and get a stator put on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this stator on now. And one thing you want to do is, before you put your stator on, be sure you have your flywheel key in. If you put your stator on, it can be a real pain sometimes to get your flywheel key in, especially if you got a new crank and it sits in there nice and tight like it should. So I'm going to go ahead and set his in there. And it sets in there okay, but it's a little on the loose side, so I'm going to put like a drop of Loctite on the back side of it. And it's not going to glue it in there permanently, it'll come right out. But this will keep it from moving whenever I go to put the flywheel on. If you guys have ever tried to put one on, the dang key keeps falling out of there. This will kind of keep that from happening. So I'm going to do that. There we go. And by the time we get the stator on there, it'll be set up good enough. And I'm going to show you guys a trick also that I think I may have showed you guys already. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the stator on and just feed in one connector first, because they won't all fit through at the same time. Just shove them through there. And if you have any question about which way does this go, well, the grommet goes to the top. I mean, it can really only go one way. So then some of these fit kind of snug in the case, so go ahead and try to line your bolt hole up as best you can before you put it in. There, that one. This one fits pretty good. So now I'm going to put a drop of Loctite on each one of my 3 stator bolts. Just one drop is plenty. Be sure you shake your Loctite also before you apply it. Sometimes you might get like a clearish blue liquid, and that ain't going to cut it. So I'm just using my T-handle to get these started. It's probably the first time you'll see me using a hand tool, but every now and then I'll use it. It just makes it easier to reach in there, especially for this one down here. I'm just going to give it a good snug. Plenty good. I'm not even going to put a ratchet on these. Just get them tight with the hand tight. A little bit of leverage and Loctite will go a long way. Okay, now we're going to go and get the flywheel on. And my flywheel key is clocked just a little off 12 o'clock, and I want it straight up. So I'm going to roll this motor towards directly at 12 o'clock. There, you can see how it's positioned. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and grab our flywheel. We'll go ahead and get this flywheel nut off of here. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys what I do sometimes to help line a flywheel up. Mainly when it's on the bike, and especially if you don't have a lot of light, this really helps a whole lot. So here's your keyway for your key. So I'm going to highlight that area just like that on the back side. Then I'm going to take that to the top and be sure I do that exact area. Now, either way you look at it, you know exactly where that keyway is. Okay, now taking the flywheel, it's easy to look down. I wish you guys could see this, but if you were, say you guys were here and you're gonna kind of peek your head over the top, you can see that mark really easily, and you can see the key, which would be my finger, really easily. So you line that up and slide it right on. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Instead of having to look through that hole, trust me, this is a lot easier. I'm just gonna line it up visually, and boom, goes right on every single time. So then we just put a little bit of Loctite on the crank snout for the flywheel nut. I'll go ahead and put it on there. Let me grab a 17 millimeter. I'm gonna run it up tight. I'm gonna take a rag, fold it over a few times, get it good and thick, and I'm just gonna reach back here and wedge it into gear like that so that I can tighten it. Let me grab my torque wrench. Alright, so the torque on the flywheel nut is 59 foot-pounds. So I'm just going to put an even 60 on it. Remember, I have my rag back there in the primary gear. There we go. Flip the lever over, back it up, reach back there, get your rag out of there. Alright, now before we put his sprocket on, we're going to put on his neutral switch cover. So I'm going to put it on good and dry. Everything's nice and clean. Be sure there's nothing in here where this O-ring sits so that it gets a good seal. Now the way this only goes on one way. It'll only line up one way. So quick way, bolt toward this little screw facing the back. If you put it on any other way, the bolt holes, they just won't line up. See there? So face the small screw towards the shifter and you're golden. Just push it right into place like that. You put your bolts in, and don't over tighten these because these are really prone to cracking out around the tapered screw holes. Alright, now we're going to just snug it. I just gave this sprocket a light coat of paint, so we're going to go ahead and slap that on now. Just like that, just so it looks nice. And I ordered a brand new lock washer for him, so we don't have to worry about that backing off. Alright. So the lock washer has splines inside, just like the shaft does. You just want to line those up. Just like that. And hold these outer edges here so that you can keep it engaged in the splines and put the nut on. Okay, then we tighten that up. So I'm going to take the same rag that I used to tighten the flywheel up. I'm just going to put it back in the gears. So now we're just going to torque this to, this is also 59 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and torque this. It may move just a bit until that rag gets tight. Oh, we're good there. Alright, loosen my torque wrench up. Be sure you always loosen your torque wrench back up when you're done with it, guys. That'll screw it up in a heartbeat. I'm looking at getting one of those Cobalt digital torque wrenches here pretty soon. I want to try one out and see how they work. They look pretty nice. So now that we have that done, we just need to fold over our lock washer. All right, we'll go ahead and get that folded right over. Come back here. That's good enough. I'm not going to get it super tight to there because that there alone is going to keep it from moving if it budges, and then that'll make it easier for him to get off later in the future if he ever needs to. So I'm going to go ahead and back this engine up here, get our rag back out of there. Okay, now this side's pretty well good to go. I'm not going to put the clutch cover on it. Sorry, stator cover on it because he's going to have that off, of course, to get his chain and everything over it. I'll just wrap up his stator cover so that it stays safe. Only thing we need to do is go ahead and finish popping in this grommet right here for this stator, and that's no big deal at all. You can push that in with whatever you have handy. I'm going to use this Allen here. Just work it in there. That's it. Okay, so there's a shot of this side, all good to go. The pickup is set properly. I checked that a while ago, so I don't have to worry about that because I didn't take the pickup loose, so all that's still legit. So now we're gonna go ahead and spin it around, get the intake on it, get this fitting put on the head, and then all I have to do then is get his clutch cover painted up and put on, and it'll be done. And the last video, I believe, is probably gonna be a leak down. So here we go.